My name is Ariyal. People call me Ari. And this is kind of what I used to be and how this camp kind of warped my mind. So I'm a 13-year-old girl. I'm going into high school at ACP Erie, Arizona College Prep. And my hobbies are swimming, dancing, karate. And I have my brother. It's a great picture, I know. That's my brother, my dad, and my mom. And you can definitely tell that's my brother because he's crazy. And that's my dad. One day I woke up in the morning and found that was my home screen. It kind of freaked me out. It was okay. And my mom's holding a milkshake. That was the first time and the only time we've ever been on a cruise. There's a lot of free food. It was delicious. This is my cat, and his name is Shire. I used to have two, but my other one passed away, sadly. But he'll find any space to curl up. One time we found him in a cabinet, but any space, anywhere, he'll just find a place to curl up. So this is me sitting down, and you guys know what a pike position is, and so my feet were on the ottoman, and he decides to jump up and somehow fit there. Okay, so I've been to a couple of cool places. The coolest places I've probably ever been are India and Australia. I went to India when I was around 2, and I don't really remember anything about it, but I do remember Australia, and I remember that the first picture right here, we were at a bird show and in the zoo, and the view is amazing, and so I was like, I have to take a picture. And we got to meet koalas. We had to wake this one up because it was sleeping, but their fur is really soft. They've got really sharp claws, and we got the experience to hold it. And the last picture is probably the most amazing picture, and I'm so glad I did it. We got to walk in this wildlife area. It was still a gated area, but you could see the animals, and we were given a bag of food. And so these wallabies and kangaroos that were basking in the sun, they would come and hop up to you, and you would get to scoop a handful of food and leave your hand out, and they would come, and their warm, fuzzy snouts would come and lick all the food off your hand. Okay, so before I came to this camp, I thought I was a pretty good person. I thought I was social, and I thought, I did a lot of things. I was pretty well-rounded. I danced. I used to do, or I still do, classical Indian dancing, and like Aditi said, that I did Bharatanatyam. So this is me prepping for my Arangecham, not this picture, but this is me prepping for my Arangecham, which is this 60-minute event where you dance on stage for an hour. And so to build up my stamina, I went to temples and I performed, and this is just a picture of my costume and my attitude when I went and sat in the car, was waiting for my dad. But the teachers here, when I came into this camp, the teachers were really nice. They were welcoming. I remember I came in super early because my mom had to go to work. And Mr. Joe came and was talking to me, and I was like, hi, okay. And these teachers have kind of showed us a new concept about what life is supposed to be about. And it's really hard. For me, it was kind of hard to wrap my mind around it. But they gave us these charts, and I had no idea what they meant the first time. They were like, yeah, mistakes, they don't exist. So I went back to my test, and I was like, so all the mistakes I made on my test, it was supposed to happen? And they told me that there were 2 different types of people, type A and type C, and that everything happened for a reason. There was only one outcome of life. And I was like, okay, I see where this is going. I finally started to understand the little hints and the games and the activities that we did, and I finally understood why we were doing them. So type A and type C, they're really the extremes that Mr. Jacob was talking about earlier. And to be honest, I was more of a person who believed in chance. I left the planning to my mom, and I would look on my calendar and be like, oh, that was today. I remembered. And I was a perfectionist, so I was a control freak and kind of wanted to control what everybody else did, but I didn't really control my own life. And this circle goes on with the same point, where I was a perfectionist, so when we would do like our group projects, the teacher would just randomly choose, and I thought that the teacher was against me because every single time I got a group with those people who were like, I know what 2 + 2 is, but that's it. And I would kind of be like, okay, so I'm doing this project by myself. I'm not going to let you guys touch or do anything. So I kind of took the entire project home, and it was a burden on me because I had to finish the project plus do all this other work that I had for all of my other classes. And now that I've seen this camp, it's going to be hard to apply this, but I've learned that leadership isn't just doing the project. It's about finding out what other people are good at and using them to help you do this project in this circumstance. And this is basically the charts all in all, where everything's simple and I have to bring it down. Instead of, like, they gave us the example where we had this table and they would show us where they'd make these like goggles and they'd go all the way down to the table and they'd be like, I see every single particle. And they told us to step back and look at the entire picture, and then they'd realize that's a table. First, I didn't exactly understand what he meant. Like, I knew that was a table. I didn't really need to like put my eye right next to it. But if you look at the bigger picture, it's really what they're talking about is, instead of focusing on exactly what you're doing and what you did in the past, it's about stepping back and seeing what you're doing right now and how that's going to affect your future. So how am I going to use this? So originally, I told you I was a perfectionist. I thought a lot about homework. I stressed and I worried, and I was definitely more of a type C person. But now these are my goals. These are a lot of goals, so bear with me just for a second. And so now I was already a happy person, but I realized that I could be more happy and I could stress less. And here's an example with my brother where he would come and ask me if I could play with him, and I'd be like, I have to study and do all this work. And given that we have a 5-year difference, I get some leniency, I get some credit because I'm in high school and he's doing all the easy stuff in 2nd grade. But he would ask me if I wanted to play, and I'd be like, no, I'm studying. And it finally got so bad that I couldn't play with him or do anything with him for a few weeks. And it got to the point where he came up to me and he said, you never play with me. And I was like, I knew that wasn't true, but if your brother comes and tells you that, you kind of feel bad. It's not something that I wanted to do. I mean, he's a devil, but it's not something that I wanted to do. So I realized that I needed to change in order to accommodate other people's needs and become more active in society, not in school. So that's my friends, and that's me being happy. And so I finally realized that the way to achieve my success is just to be me, and that's what I'm going to do.